And in my social media travels over the course of the last few hours, I have seen your work not only on Trojans Wire, but you've had some work posted on Yahoo as well. And, Lincoln Riley during this off season, going back to, of course, the transition from Oklahoma to USC, has been one of the more controversial figures in our game. And you certainly have your take on how he's been viewed and treated by both media and fan bases.
Absolutely. So, this post on Yahoo, it's syndication from Trojans Wire. So it's not a separate article relative to what we did at Trojans Wire. But there's a story here. All right. So the Sports Animal, a sports radio program in Oklahoma hosted by Jim Traber. Apparently they were all over our guest on the Riley Files, Keegan Renault. And the whole controversy was they thought that Keegan, again, fantastic, brilliant guest. You could not have asked for a better job from him for the Riley Files, the 12-part series. We just posted part 11, so we're almost at the end. They thought that he was basically acting as Lincoln Riley's press secretary or defense attorney, that he was basically representing the Lincoln Riley worldview. No, the Riley Files is all about getting inside the mind of Lincoln Riley, just trying to tell our listeners, whether they're USC fans or Oklahoma fans or anyone else, what we think he was wrestling with at Oklahoma and why he went to USC, and also evaluating his performance. This is not public relations for Lincoln Riley. It's just we're trying to get a sense of how he thought, how he operated, how he did his business, how he was processing situations. And the title of that story at Trojans Wire, which got syndicated to Yahoo, picked up by an Oklahoma sports radio program, the title of the story was Lincoln Riley worried that he was set up to fail at Oklahoma. It was not Lincoln Riley was set up to fail at Oklahoma. Pretty big difference there. And so people in Oklahoma thought that Keegan Renault, our guest on the Riley Files, was saying Lincoln Riley was set up to fail and that Oklahoma was bad and awful and terrible and didn't do its due diligence, wasn't fair, et cetera, et cetera. If you miss that one word, worried, Lincoln Riley worried he was set up to fail, it changes the whole dynamic. And a lot of people in the state of Oklahoma, including on the Sports Animal, miss that. And the other really weird thing about this drama, which has unfairly, savaged Keegan, like he was just being a neutral party and objective observer. People are thinking he's Lincoln Riley's press secretary. The other part of this is, people know I'm the editor of Trojans Wire. They know that I interviewed Keegan for 4 hours. This was 4 hours of conversation chopped into these 12 episodes. No one from Oklahoma's wanted to have me on the air. They don't want to get any clarity about that. They're just going to jump on Keegan. It's bizarre, in addition to being wrong and unfair. So definitely wanted to clear the air there. And I thank you, Mark, for giving me a chance just to kind of set the record straight on a number of fronts.
We have also left the link to that article on Trojans Wire there in the live chat. So folks, check it out. And yes, I am victim of that on a regular basis in regards to people making assumptions based on the title of the video, which, again, if there's a question mark or it leads to, okay, this is a discussion about, this is not necessarily the conclusion that was made.
That's right. And that leads me to an important additional point. And that is, if Oklahoma radio personalities or Sooner fans in general were unsure about the thrust of that article and what Keegan was trying to say or what Keegan was specifically representing, they just need to talk to me. And if they did talk to me, they would realize that I don't think Oklahoma looks bad in all of this. I don't think Oklahoma misplayed its cards. I think it was just a hard-nosed business negotiation, which ran along the lines of Oklahoma wanted Lincoln Riley to win a college football playoff semifinal before it gave him everything, or at least before it gave him a lot more of what he wanted. Lincoln Riley didn't do it, so Oklahoma played hardball. Oklahoma wasn't willing to give him everything the way it's giving Brent Venables. That's pretty reasonable from Oklahoma's point of view. So I don't look down on Oklahoma for this. And so Sooner fans might think Trojans Wire and Matt Zemek, they have it in for Oklahoma, and they just want to elevate Lincoln Riley to Messiah-like status. And Keegan Renault is the defense attorney, press secretary, judge advocate, for Lincoln Riley, who's going to walk with him to the ends of the earth, singing his praises, defending him at every turn. That reading of the situation could not be further from the truth. I think Oklahoma is in a great spot. I think Brent Venables is going to do really well. If Oklahoma fans took a few seconds to talk to me about this, if Oklahoma radio stations and radio hosts took a few seconds to ask what my actual opinion of Oklahoma football is, they'd get a good review. But they think I have it in for Oklahoma. They think I'm just the biggest Lincoln Riley fanboy out there. Hey, I like a lot of what he's doing, but it's interesting. When we recorded the Riley Files, meaning when the recording was finished, these 4 hours of conversations, which I knew would be chopped into 12 episodes over the summer, I privately worried, gee, my USC listeners might find all the criticisms of Lincoln Riley a little excessive. Like, I was worried this piece was too critical of Lincoln Riley. And yet here we are getting this controversy about, me being just completely in the tank for Lincoln Riley from an Oklahoma perspective. It's hilarious in a lot of ways.
So Matt, just so everyone does have access to the Riley Files, again, the best way to access those editions, and where do we stand on the series, the 12-part series?
We've released 11 episodes. We'll release the 12th and final episode later this week, and we are going to put all 12 episodes in a single post next week, so that you get all of them in one stop. You can do one-stop shopping of the Riley Files. Listen to the 4-hour conversation in all of its 12 different episodes. Produced by my buddy Ian Hest, who's just been a warrior in terms of getting all these episodes out for distribution. So we'll have all 12 episodes in one post next week. And, we're doing, of course, we're slicing up the excerpts, the transcripts. And usually we get like 2 or 3 paragraphs from Keegan Renault in each post. It's been filling our content calendar the past month. But we do, like a 2 or 3 paragraph excerpt in each post from Keegan, so that his comments are not taken out of context. Like, we're not going to quote just a sentence or a snippet of a sentence. We're going to give you a couple paragraphs so you get a fully fleshed out idea. And we've just been chopping up these ideas in our post, much as we've chopped up the 4 hours of conversation with Keegan into 12 more manageable and topic specific podcast episodes as we continue our summer of Lincoln Riley here at Trojans Wire.
Again, we've dropped that link for the article that Matt has addressed in the chat. However, the best way to follow all of Matt's work is to go to Twitter and just go to Matt Zemek. It's simply found Matt Zemek. You see it right there on the banner. Also, we've left the link to Matt's initial entry at Voice of College Football, voiceofcollegefootball.com, where Matt addresses the big questions of the 2022 college football season. So we are delighted, me personally, of course, first and foremost, to have Matt on board at the Voice of College Football and writing for us there. Thank you so much for that, Matt.